Alright, we're going to set up the left-hand main bearing here. So lately these haven't been sized very accurately, so we got to work on them. So basically I'm just going to hold the bearing up in here and check it. So I got 4 different shims down here that I got laying here. From one of them's the one that came out of the kit. So basically you just stick the bearing and hold it with your finger. Lay it up on something helps a little bit. Here, I'll lay it right on that so you can see it better. You take your little shim, you drop it in there, stick the other bearing on top of it, center it up, and you check. And there's no clearance. If there was clearance in there, it'd be rattling. So, this here is really hard to do here, but it's like impossible to do with one hand. Can't even see anything. Stupid way of doing stuff here. And the camera's upside down, which don't help me. Alright, where's my shim at? This here is our shim that drops down there on the bearing. This bearing goes on top of that bearing. And when everything is together, like this, you see how the bearings are lined up. And it will, you can check your in-play. Now if the washer's off to one side, actually I know we don't need a washer in here. There's no washer even in here right now. No, it's in there. See, if the washer is like this, where it's not centered, you won't get an accurate number. So you got to make sure you put the bearing spacer where you can see it. Or actually where you can't see it, that means it's between the bearings. And then you just push it from both sides and you do it until you get clearance. So right now we have no clearance. Alright, so let's put this back over here again. And make sure I have that. Camera looks different than it did before. Alright, this is totally screwed up, but whatever. Okay, so right now we have the wrong space, wrong thickness. So we got to take it and measure this. Well, that's why I can't tell what's going on. The camera's upside down. Okay, this is a... This thing is stupid. There we go. Okay, right now we have 103 thousandths thickness. That's not enough. So we're going to go ahead and pump up to 109. I got the bags in here all separated, the different ones I have. I never throw these away, I always keep them. So you measure it. And this one's measuring 110, so it's probably 109 and a half. We go ahead and stick it on the bearing. Top, and it has some clearance. Can you hear the clearance in there? Okay, so that's got about 3,000 clearance in it. So we'll go ahead and check out 108. It's probably 109 probably. Yeah, it reads 108 and a half. And we'll check it again. That one we have no clearance. Yeah, barely. Just above 0. So we know 108 is too thin, 108 and a half. So it leaves us 109, 110. I'm going to go ahead and put together that 110 that sounded loose, because when you put the bearings in there, these expand out, they get thicker, and makes it less clearance. Now we'll go ahead and get the tool for installing this. Okay, go ahead and put the Timken main bearing on the crank here. So we have a stand here that helps hold this for us. Basically, it's just I can't tell what's going on with this camera. The viewfinder over here. So anyway, there it is. It's just a piece of tube with a couple bars that stick up, little dowels, held in the vise. And those go into the dowel pins right over here in the flywheel, the two holes, and that's what holds it. So let's get this back around so I can see it. Somewhere over there is where it was. I'll have to do for now. Alright, so this goes back over here. And we go ahead and put this in there like that. And somehow I had this camera sitting over here before. So I'll figure that out. Let me get the camera set up. Alright, we're back recording. Alright, we'll go ahead and put the bearing on it here. Should we get our assembly lube in here? I'll just put the oil down between the bearings and rotate it in. Seems to work pretty good for getting them all lubricated. Put that in that direction. Put your spacer washer in there. Our install tool here, which threads on the end of the crankshaft, and then you screw this down to tighten it. That's the spacer to hold, push it in. First thing you screw it on down. And then screw the bearing down. Open the washer, you back it up until it goes again. Down another 1.25 inches. It's called manual labor. By the time you get worn out, you're done. Pull it out, and unscrew it. This holds the shaft in there so you can unscrew it. Goes up and hits the end of the shaft there. And you unscrew the whole thing. We'll go ahead and take the case, stick it up on there. First we got to lubricate the bearing races. Inside down. Okay. Now before you go any further, you want to double check and make sure that your spacer here is still on the crank. You didn't lose it. Because if it's not in there, you will destroy the motor. You make sure the rods are in between both cylinders where they belong. Not all on one side. And we take the other bearing and put the oil in it too. This is the only oil that gets until the oil builds up in that crankcase. So You don't want to put these things in there anywhere near dry. Okay, goes down like that. Put the tool back on here. Start running it down. Double check, make sure the rod's where it belongs. And tighten it up. If the case rotates back like that, so it's not tight, and you kind of feel for clearance. You can hear the clearance in it, so that means we have clearance. So for a hot rod motor, this is perfect, nice and loose. For a street motor like he's going to do, lower RPM street motor, the space is too tight, too loose. So that means we got to take this back apart and put a thinner spacer in it. And you got to keep playing around with this until you get the one in there that feels good to you. Then you double check it after it's assembled. You have an in-play check. So right now we're going to take this back apart, go put it in the press, and press the crank back out. Do it again.
I ain't seen shit.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and push out this crank. Like this, and you got to support it from the bottom so you don't drop it. Right like that. So that's how you get it out. And the off. Okay, we're going to find ourselves a different washer. So we have this one here. We mic it, and we're just at 10 almost. In my next bag, I got the 8s in it, and we are at 8 or slightly under 8. That's why it went from tight to loose. Loose to tight when we checked it before. So I got the 2 other ones here to choose from. This one here is about 9.5, and this one here is about the same. So I need to get something that's closer to 9, as loose as that case is, to get what I want. Someone's going to make it. So I'm going to take this in back and grind on it and get it down to the 9,000, which will be 1,000 less than what I got, which will take out probably about 3,000 of in-play, which is kind of what I'm looking for. So I'm going to have to go grind on this. I don't have it. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, here's our grinder right here. It's a disc grinder. So 12-inch disc grinder. So basically I do, I'm going to have to hold this wash with my fingers, not grind my fingers. Now we'll burn them and take some metal off of this. So, shouldn't be any problem, right? Yeah. So the only way you can do this is I'm going to have to hold it and hit the go button and come back for it. And you see that fingernail right there? It's going to disappear. And so is the one on the other side, I bet. So we're going to try to do this with just our fingertips. See what happens here. Do a little bit like that. Pull it off. And you blow it off. And you measure it. And we keep doing that until we get what we want. So right now we got a long ways to go. We didn't even squat. So that's the background noise. keep playing with that until we get close to what we want. The trick is to pull it off before it nails your fingers and burns the shit out of them. So. This doesn't take off much, but we're down to 9 right there, so that side's good. So we got to quit pushing on that side. Alright. So don't push where it's too much already. Okay, so our 9, 9.5, 10 almost, 9.5, 9. So I only need to push from here to here right now. So we're just going to push with those 2 fingers right there only. So we're just under 9, 9, 9, 9, 9.5 right there, 9.5 there, and then drop to 10 right there. So now we just push right here in this one little spot only. Finger's just getting hot on that one. Alright. So we got it kind of between 8 and 9. That one little spot went too much. So close enough. I'm going to take this and put it back in my lower end and see what it looks like. Okay, we're back at it. I went and cleaned off the spacer here. Make sure you get all the grinding grit off of it. Put this back down on here. Get the rods in both holes there, not all on one side like that was. And we screw this back down again. Alright, that's good, still moving. It still has a little bit of clearance in it. Should have tightened up more than that, but it doesn't look like it did. So we'll do it again. And we'll drop all the way down to the 8. We had that size. You can't tell exactly how much you got to take out of these because it takes it up really quick with the angle of the Timken. It's not a 1-for-1. You can't take one tile out and move up on one. It's like a 3-to-1 ratio. Okay, we'll go do this again. We'll come back and show what it is this next time. Alright, so number 3. This one here is about 7 3/4 to just under 8. Our dimension. We started at 10. So it rotates. And we have a little bit of clearance in there still. This one's being goofy. I keep taking clearance out and it doesn't seem to make a lot of difference. Alright, I was getting ready to chuck the Timken in-play on here again. Right now we took this apart again and took out another 1/4 to 1/2 thou out. So we have this much, that's how much free play we got, which feels pretty good, but I'll do a mock-up by putting the other case half on there. And I want to put on these main bearings. I always see that we have a mismatch here in parts. So see that snap ring groove right there? There ain't no room for a snap ring. So this is the earlier shaft. I just went and looked and it is the 81 to 86 shaft, not the 87 shaft. And these are 87 bearings here. So we're going to have to go with these old cage style bearings right here and recheck our clearances. So this is going to take the earlier style cage setup and we'll just have to redo that a little bit. No major deal because I got all the different parts here, but could be a problem if you let it be a problem. Okay, so for now we're going to go ahead and put this case on here. So I can check this. And now the bearing doesn't want to go on. There it goes. Okay, let me put this up over here out of the way. So we take our right side case, go ahead and assemble it up on here. Clear everything. Spin it around, put 2 bolts in it. Put that one in right there and the other one over here on the bottom. Lightly tighten these up a little bit. Okay. And you want to make sure everything spins over freely. It turns over nice and free. Check your in-play right here like this. You can hear that a little bit, so it's nice and snug. 1 to 3 is where you're supposed to put these in at. So that's about 3 right there. Maybe 2 to 3. So that's how you check it. And you got to keep turning this a couple times each time you check it, because the tapered rollers jam up because they're on a taper. So they kind of wedge themselves in tight. So you always got to spin it, then check it. So we got our left-hand main bearing set up good now, but obviously we're going to have to work on the pinion side a little bit. So that'll be something to do next after I do that. So let me go ahead and knock the tool off here, and then we'll be able to go from there. So I'll call the next thing I can do is take these bearings, measure up the diameter that's in there, find the same size on the early ones, and get the rollers. If I can't find those rollers that size, I'll have to rehone the case here until I make it fit right. So then we go ahead and put the case together, because everything else is done right now on the fitment of this thing. So that's where we're at now.